hopefully people got time to peruse that, but I'll open it up to any questions you guys might have.
You are correct. The streetscape is going to be an important part of this mission, because that is an entrance to Spearfish, and we're very proud of Spearfish. So we want to make sure that this is done right. So I agree with that.
Yeah, I did get to meet with the company, the sub-consultant that would be doing this, and they've got a good reputation, very common sense, do a great job. I'm really excited about the design team that will be doing this if we approve it. I think we'll get a great product.
All right, we're going to have to balance, because this is what Jackson Boulevard will look like for the next 30 to 40 years. But we
Yes,
also
so
have
you better
to
make good decisions.
and make good decisions. But we have to be very careful of the scope creep and how grand and costly it could be. So it's going to be a balance of the two. So this will be, will be fun.
It is, we have $400,000 ballpark for streetscaping right now, with some additional funds for lighting and things like that are in there. But we really need to determine how much we're willing to spend, and that's going to determine how much we can add to the streetscaping in this. It may fluctuate that 3.2 million plus or minus. It can add up really fast if we want to be really fancy. So.
Right, and Dave is excited.
Personally, boring civil engineer, all I care about is the water, sewer, and the streets. So it's up to you guys to make it look pretty.
There you go.
I don't think we want to make it look pretty. I think we want to make it look practical and make it look.
Yes, get rid of some of that hard concrete, asphalt. Get some landscaping in there, and
yes,
make it a nice entrance into our community.
Correct.
So my question would be, is there's estimate of hours, so is this total not to exceed total, or
On their portion?
On their,
that's a not to exceed, unless we do a big change to the scope. That would be a not to exceed. In the past, AE2S has never, even when we've added some to the scope, they've never came and asked for additional funds. They're very good about working within their budget.
Okay, is there a motion?
Move to approve.
second?
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks,
Thank
Kyle.
you.
Under finance, we have a request authorization to transfer $342,286 from general fund to the 214 E911 fund.
This is a budgeted item. It's administrative in nature. We fund the operational portion of E911 from the general fund. However, state statute requires those all E911 expenses be funded out of that fund, or spended out of that fund. So we need the approval to make that administrative transfer from the general fund over to 214.
Move to approve the transfer?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, under the fire department, request approval for applying for an assistance to firefighters grant. Chief.
This is a grant that comes up annually. It's a bit like the lottery. You can't win if you don't play. So I'm going to apply for some gear that we would like to get, replace old stuff. And in regard to the breathing apparatus, it'll replace some old ones and get ones that are compatible with the newer ones that we have. One of the engines has some old breathing packs on it, and it would be good to have them match the others. So
Have we applied for this grant before?
we haven't.
We have not?
No.
I'm glad the chief is doing this. Anytime we can try to get grant money, it's a good thing. So move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thanks for doing that. Next, under Public Works, we have the 2016 scheduled street repair project. Kyle, I'll let you take over.
This, second here. This is just our annual scheduled street repair project that is all done now. There's 3 areas that we made improvements on: the end of Fruitdale, North Avenue, drainage ditches, and Ryan Road storm sewer, and the other one's escaping me now. End of Tulane, the one that we started last year and completed now that we had coordinated with Black Hills State. Overall, we're over about $4,000, pretty good for the project there, just a few more percent over what the bid price was. That was primarily for some over excavation that we had to do to bring in some bigger rock to stabilize some of that ditch area. You've probably seen all that water ponding in there for years, so that's primarily what that was for. We're still well under the budget of $150,000 too, so we'd like to close it out, and then the second part of that is to have the mayor sign the certificate of final completion and acceptance that signifies the start of our 2-year warranty on the project.
Okay, and these are 2 separate motions, correct?
If not, then one.
They can all be one, okay.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion on those? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Kyle. I guess you're up again, aren't you? Request approval for change order 3 for the Ramsdale Utility and Street Improvement Project for increase of $15,429.
Yes, we talked about this in early February, wanting to see if we wanted to get some quotes on this. This was an in-house design, and we finally got that done a few weeks ago. And then we got some quotes from the contractor. In your packet, you received a couple different tabulations. One was the overall cost of doing this additional work, and in that there's several existing bid items that we could utilize for the existing unit prices. So the second component was the actual official change order number 3, which just includes the new bid items and new unit prices that we needed in order to complete this work. So overall, the total cost of that, the rec path extension in that area, and then the 1.5 blocks of Ames Street and that intersection, it would be $80,603.60 with the official change order number 3, the new bid items within that $80,000, totaling $15,429.31. This change order also includes an extension of 14 days to the contract. I believe the existing completion date is October 20th, so that would be November 3rd, November 4th for final completion of all this. That is, again, weather dependent. We're getting into that iffy part of the season here, but the contractor is ready to go if we want to approve this. If not, then we'll put it on the back burner and do it some other time.
Move change order number 3.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have the College Well House project. First is request approval for change order 2 of an increase of $3,312, and then also to sign the certificate of final completion.
That's fine, yes. These were some field modifications that were made during the project. We relocated some electrical conduit and also rerouted some chlorine piping to make it more operator friendly. So we would like to also close out this project and have the mayor sign our final completion certificate and start the warranty. And the well house is online.
Up and running.
Move to approve.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Request to purchase a digital voice emergency warning siren from Federal Signal at a cost of $21,929. Cheryl?
We had budgeted for a replacement siren. This is one up located by West Elementary. We had a failure of the old signal. It's an obsolete piece of equipment, and so we're unable to get parts for it anymore. We are going to upgrade the siren to a digital voice siren, similar to what we have here around the Main Street area, because of the proximity to the campus and other school facilities and outdoor sports areas, which it's highly recommended to go to those digital voice systems. So I budgeted $25,000 in Second Penny, and so it came within that budget amount, and we would install the equipment in-house.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Request to purchase the surplus D6R dozer from the city of Belfouche at a price of $75,000.
Just to give you a little background on this, about 10 years ago now, the city was operating the rubble site with a Fiat Alice dozer, very old piece of machinery and in very tough shape. At that point, it was budgeted to replace that with the D5 dozer that we currently operate. Significant increase at that point to the D5 dozer. At the same time, D5 dozer is classified as a small finish dozer. When you look at classification of dozers, and you just read the title of D5 versus a D6, you wouldn't think there's much difference, but they're about double in size. The weight capacity is almost double, as well as your pushing capacity and your power to the ground. What we are currently at is our increase in volume at the rubble site, as well as our expansion. What we're looking at is this D6 dozer will increase our compaction ability. This is the only piece of equipment we use as compaction on that material at the rubble site. And so we're looking at an extension in life of that facility by utilizing a heavier piece of equipment. The reason this is being brought forward is the city of Belfouche contacted us recently. They had a service model change in their facility. In order for them to make their facility last long enough, they had to purchase a compactor. And so what they did is, in place of this machine, they are purchasing what would look like a sheep's foot roller with a dozer blade on the front of it. And that way they can still push their material but also compact at the same time. That therefore brought them to the surplus of their dozer and the availability to us. And so they did contact us directly. We did go over and do inspections on that machine, as well as have it appraised by two entities. And the appraisal came in right at what they're asking for the machine. And our mechanics did recommend that this is a good piece of equipment and would be very usable for our system. We did also at the same time appraise our dozer, and our D5 dozer appraises at about $45,000. Right at this point, we are not recommending that we surplus instantly. We are looking at making sure that we don't have any additional use for this machine out at the rubble site before we surplus. But we would look at that as an option in the future to surplus our dozer after the purchase of this. But right now, we are just looking at a sole purchase at this point. And we did visit with Dave. Solid waste has significant funds in it because we did not purchase that full garbage truck this year. We just did the rebuild on the one garbage truck that we already owned. And so there is significant money in there to accommodate this purchase this year.
Do you have an idea how long it's going to extend the life of the landfill?
I don't have a good idea on it. All depends on what kind of materials are coming in. I would estimate that you're gonna get about 25% more compaction out of your material by using this. But obviously it depends on what type of demolitions come in, what type of if we get a lot of big brick buildings, brick doesn't compact that well. We try and break it up as best we can, but.
Thank you.
I did want to mention too that we did also do a life cycle analysis on this dozer, and we do anticipate that this will last us another 10 to 15 years without needing any significant repairs on it. And as well with the budget, we did have budgeted in 2018 to do a undercarriage replacement on our D5, which is about $30,000, and then in 2021 we were budgeted to replace our D5. So this will extend that budget cycle out for us.
Sounds great. Move to approve.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks,
Thank you.
Bob. Next, we have the Cemetery Road paving.
Yeah, this was presented to us today at another meeting. This is the cemetery road repairs. I believe this was a 2015 project that got postponed, moved forward to 16.
Yes, I'll give a little background.
Thank you.
I did not hear back from Keith, so I will wing this. But last year, our St. Joe project was bid out for the street overlay project. Later on during that project, we did approach Sackerson Paving about honoring their unit prices since they were so good on that one for the following two areas that you're looking at here, which includes the cemetery and another roadway within the campground. They did honor those, however, they did not have time to get that done last year, so they said they would honor it this year. We're finally getting around to it. I believe this was talked about last year. That was something I asked Keith to confirm, but I'm not sure. So this is basically honoring those unit prices. We can still do that within a year of the completion of that project, which the completion of that project last year was in the November timeframe. So this would just be utilizing that. He did have budget, but Dave, you want to chime in on that? He did have adequate budget that he carried over from last year to this year for this.
Well, it was budgeted money that wasn't spent last year, so, you know, it's available to be spent, but we'd have to supplement the budget. And the cemetery funds come from perpetual care, and of course the campground comes from the campground enterprise fund.
We're going to address these separately, but we can talk about them
Just to
together.
give you an idea on the pricing as well, they're at $67 a ton for overlay. I can only purchase it for $60 a ton. So they're essentially charging you $7 to lay it down. So it is a good price.
That was my question, you know, it was the concern, well, at the time, we were talking about city forces putting this stuff down in the campground and putting it down in the cemetery to get you guys up and running on that paver.
Mhm.
But a $7 cost.
I can't lay it down
You
for
can't lay it down for
$67.
that.
Well, and also, this is coming out of funds designated for the cemetery. This isn't general fund money. This is not, well, we could spend it somewhere else. No, it has to be spent on the cemetery. So it's designated funds.
Can you pull up a map and show us what parts are? Yeah. I believe the overlays for the cemetery is a complete.
If you bring up the aerial, I can point out the roadways that they're doing. Parks Department, based in cemetery, gave us a dollar amount to back into, so that's what we did. We did do an overlay 6 years ago in that area and spent $50,000 and did a certain amount of it then. This would basically overlay 3 more of the roadways up there, and once we get that up, I'll point them out to you here. Some of the ones we're doing are only about 2.5 inches. There's one that's totally ruined right now that we'll have to completely remove and replace. But here, I'll go up there real quick.
There'll be various patching all over, but it's primarily this road, and this road that will be done. We, about 5-6 years ago, we did the outside loop, and this one, and this one, and this one. So this will get us two-thirds of the way done. The way they do it is they just budget $50,000 a year. So we just back into that number. Those are the ones that they want to do this year.
We need to move on these separately. Yeah, I put them in there separate. They're two separate projects, come out of 2 separate funds, and so I'd like to have them done separately. So. Move to approve the cemetery.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. And then the second is for the campground paving.
Can you pull up that map and show us where the scope is?
This, again, is just, this is south of the bridge that was just replaced here on the west side of the main road, Canyon Street. From Canyon Street all the way to where we have the ice rink, right there, that whole area right there.
Basically, here's Canyon Street. There's where the new bridge is. That would be from here to here, this whole area. There's some area to be dug out. It's in really bad shape again, and they gave us a number, we backed into it, and that's what we can afford right in there. That's about $25,000 to do that.
There also used to be an area in there where there was a tree and kind of an island in the middle there, that the tree has been removed since Storm Atlas, and so that area is where he's talking about the dig out will be in, it'll get paved, so that'll make that more of a parking lot rather than just a loop.
Okay.
A little easier to turn around, but that's the same thing, about $25,000, and it's just, they're honoring the same unit prices right there too. So as far as getting them done, it's a very good cost. It's a last second thing here again, but I don't know if we can get a better price in the future. So
Move to approve the campground work.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Oh,
Just a quick question.
Sure.
How long do these overlays typically last? What's the lifespan?
well,
It's
in the
just-
cemetery, and the cemetery doesn't get a whole lot of traffic, so it'll last probably quite a long time with a little maintenance on it, probably 20 years, I would say. Campground's a little busier, maybe 12 to 15 years with maintenance. Just an FYI, I have talked to Keith in the Parks Department, and in the future, we'd like to work with them and just do the whole ball of wax next time. It's kind of a pain to piecemeal these together, so,
That would
Okay.
make sense.
yeah.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion, questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next, we have city administration. Joe?
Just a reminder, on Thursday, we'll have a joint session with the Parks, Recreation, Forestry Advisory Board and the City Council. It will be at the Rec Center, so we'll try to get a little bit of a tour of the lookout room and everything as part of the conversation. It is at 5:30, and appreciate your help with it, so.
Okay, next, approve the bill list dated October 17th. Dave, anything?
No, just to highlight a couple of the larger payments. There's a bond payment for the wastewater treatment plant, and of course, the closeout for the College Wellhouse project and the 2016 street maintenance project, as well as the annual software maintenance agreement with Zerker for our 911 software.
Move to approve.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mayor and council discussion items. Is there anything to discuss? I know you had something.
Yes, with the problems that the sanctuary had, the Humane Society and its facility did an outstanding, excellent stand-up. I can't use enough adjectives here to take care of what needed to be taken care of there. The USDA relied on heavily. They fell into place and they're a valuable asset to the community. So I feel that at a girl, at a boy out there is something that needs to be done. So we just should take recognition of that. Also, speaking of that, Pause for Pause is Thursday night, the 20th, 5:30 to 8. 30. So after the meeting, you could go to the Crow Peak and support the Humane Society. So,
There you go.
thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, they did, they took a lot of responsibility.
They did.
With a lot of animals, and so I'm very thankful for that. And I think it was reported that they're trying to pause and figure out what the personalities are out there right now.
They are. They're trying to learn that.
Yeah, before they place them in homes. So yeah, they have a lot of work ahead of them, and I'm sure the donations would be appreciated. Any other councilor discussion items? I don't, there are quite a few meetings this week, like Joe said about the Parks and Rec, but SEDC is also this week, and tomorrow is the Planning Commission also, and they have some, quite a few things on their agenda, so kind of keep updated with that. But other than that, I don't think there is anything from mayor and council. Any other discussion items, Joe?
I have nothing else.
Jane, anything else? Anything further? Okay, Dave?
Just wanted to let you all know I'll be on vacation starting Friday and will return on Monday the 31st.
All right. Eric, you too?
I thought I was taking Dave's spot, but apparently not. I don't have anything important, but I did want to let you know that at the Municipal League Annual Conference, I was elected to the Municipal Attorney's Board of Directors. So just great. Great for Spearfish to have representation on that board for the first time.
Great, thank you. Cheryl, anything? Anything from the police department? How you guys doing? Hanging in there, good. And fire department, what you got?
Just FYI, we had an open house during Fire Prevention Month, pretty successful. Hard to gauge because the kids and their families come through in waves, but I would say at least 150, maybe 200 people altogether. I know the association raised some donations for some special purposes. There's one, firefighters, her family has numerous members with health issues, so they wanted to do a collection for her. And I want to say thanks for the opportunity to go to Municipal League. It was an eye-opener and really good for me. I established some contacts with some of the other fire departments that are going to be helpful as we press forward to develop policy. And then the last item is we're going to have the first round of interviews tomorrow to see if we can make progress towards hiring an assistant chief.
Yes, it's gonna be a full week, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Anything else? For the good of the group? No? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.